What's up, everybody? It's your boy Mel here for another classic review, and today I'm going to talk about my thoughts on a Christmas classic because, hey, it's December 1st already, so let's do this. It's the 1974 Rankin Christmas classic, A Year Without Santa Claus. And before we begin, did you subscribe? Did you hit the bell? If so, if Snow Miser won't freeze ya, the Heat Miser will roast your chestnuts on an open fire. Let's begin, shall we? So, where was I? No, because I had to do this like 3 times because the damn thing keeps shutting off again. Which is kind of like a pain in the ass, plus my voice is acting weird. So, yeah. A Year Out Santa Claus was a stop-motion animated Christmas television special produced by Rankin back in 1974. It was based on the story by Phyllis McGinley in a 1956 book of the same name. It was narrated by Shirley Booth, who not only narrated, but she also voices Mrs. Claus, and this is her final acting credit before retiring from acting. We also have the starring voice of Mickey Rooney. If you don't remember him, anybody who's seen that in the museum, he's one of the 3 evil night guards against Ben Stiller's good one. Him and Dick Van Dyke. Sorry. As I was saying, he voices Santa Claus, and this ain't the only time he does it. First time he voiced Santa Claus was in Santa Claus Comes to Town. And after that, he's been the ideal choice for Santa. Because it don't say Real the Red-Nosed Reindeer, because he never did that voice. It was voiced by somebody else, so let's get that clear. He also did the voice for Santa in Rudolph and Frosty's Christmas in July, Rudolph's Shiny New Year, and also the sequel of this one, A Miser Brother Christmas, along with George S. Irving, because both Shirley Booth and Dick Shawn passed away before this film was ever made. If you don't know who Dick Shawn is, he's the voice of Snow Miser, while George S. Irving is the voice of Heat Miser. Along with them, there's also Bob McFadden, who voices Jingle Bells, the #1 elf, and also the elf doctor who diagnoses Santa's illness. Then we have Bradley Bloke, who's the voice of Jangle Bells, the #2 elf and idiot, and the pain in the butt to Jingles, and also the police officer. If you don't know the police officer, he's the one who gave them the ticket for wearing stupid clothes. I think he does the dog catcher as well, I think. They both look alike, so. We also have Rhoda Mann, who voices Mother Nature, and Mrs. Fizzlewhite. We have Ron Marshall, who voices Mr. Fizzlewhite in The Mayor of Southtown. Colin Duffy as Ignatius Iggy Fizzlewhite, the boy who helps Jingle Jangle and Mrs. Claus on their little quest to find that people still care about Santa Claus. Which he became a very important part, but I'll explain all the way. They don't know who don't remember Rankin Bass. Remember, the puppets are more different than your current stop motion puppets, like from now, like Leica, the Tim Burton films, Aardman, Claymation, and others. Including this other guy, I forgot his name. Shit, I forgot his name. He's a very important one because he's the one who was the owner of Leica before Nike fired him and took his studio away from him. He's the one who made the famous movie, The Adventures of Mark Twain. That one. He also did the California Raisins, the Eddie Murphy one. You know, the PJs. That was on MTV. That. I forget his name. Will Vinton, I think. If I'm right, correct me if I'm right, it was Will Vinton. Also, you have George Powell from Puppet Tunes, which This is way before Will Wilton. Not there in the early time of with Rankin Bass right there. We remember these. George Powell is from around the 40s and the 30s with Puppetoons, and these were popular ones. Some won Academy Awards. And they're all made of wood. And that's very harder. And they make a whole shitload, like different sizes, so make the effect more better. But we're going way overhead. Let's stay where Rankin Bass is. As you know, the puppets that were used here in Rankin Bass were made in Japan by a company called Animagic, which each puppet is cost like $1,000 back then. Now it's like 10 or more, 10 grand or more. One, because these puppets aren't the last; they're fragile. Like, take example, the puppets from Rudolph. How many remain? I don't know, because I saw a photo of both the puppets, the Santa puppet and Rudolph, or in a museum of puppetry, I think. The original ones, which you still see the wiring from Rudolph, if you remember. That's for his glowing nose to get that effect right. But back to the mice. Sorry. My voice sounds weird lately, so I'll keep going. Anywho, I was saying, the one I like is the scene where. Okay, let's talk about the songs here. The first one is The Year About Santa Claus, which was actually done by the Wee Wilton Singers, the children choir, who sang the song. Of course, you know, Rankin Bass has this little gag of throwing newspapers about everything, like with Rudolph, you know, like the blizzard, and you have what Santa Claus comes to town. Now you have this one as well, that Santa's sick, he's taking a day off. Damn. And I was saying, then you have I Could Be Santa Claus by Shirley Booth, because what will happen if Mrs. Claus takes the role of Santa? Which is actually pretty, you see a little gag there, but how she gonna pull it off? Then we got Jingle Jangle and Vixen noticing Mrs. Claus, they thought it was Santa until they realized it was actually her. Oh, hi, Mrs. C. Mrs. C? Huh? Which didn't work. The next one was It's Gonna Snow Right Here in Dixie by Ron Marshall, who not only voices Iggy's dad, but the mayor, who sang this as well. And of course, we have the two most popular ones of all time. The Miser song, sung by Heat Miser and Snow Miser. If you don't know Snow Miser's song, it goes like this. I'm Mr. White Christmas, I'm Mr. Snow, I'm Mr. Icicle, I'm Mr. Tremolo. And Heat Miser, I'm Mr. Green Christmas, I'm Mr. Sun, I'm Mr. Heat Blister, I'm Mr. 101. Which, those are the most catchiest ones of all time. If you put those two together in a single, not like it's one half, you put them together, damn, it's catchy. Then you have the other two, like Here Comes Santa Claus. That's from when Santa finally decides to no vacation. I got a job to do. And a reprise from the Year About Santa Claus from the credits. And yeah, because the puppets here are pretty good. Example. The example is scene where Mrs. Claus, Jingle Jangle, and Iggy visit Snow Miser. You see how big the Snow Miser puppet is compared to Mrs. Claus. And remember, their size. So Snow Miser is bigger than Mrs. Claus, but Jingle Jangle and Iggy are smaller. But remember, Jingle Jangle are elves. And Iggy's a kid, so of course. Then you have, Snow Miser's little helpers, his mini-me's. Then you got Heat Miser and their sets, of course. You see, like, you got Snow Miser, a little more like an icy palace. While Heat Miser is a volcano. Literally, a volcanic world. Damn. And oh boy, the sets of these two are pretty good. Including the set from Southtown. North Pole looks still the same because they kind of reuse models for later specials like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, like the Christmas in July and Shiny New Year. To recycle old sets to be better than remake new ones, which cost a fortune back in those days. The ones that I like here is the scene where Mrs. Claus had enough of these two, of both the Monster brothers fighting because she wants to help her husband, so she had enough, and she told them she's going over their heads, which, when you hear that, it means, oh boy, that's trouble. Meaning, when Jingle asks Mrs. Claus, when they're going to disturb her, that's when Jangle says, and we'll say, no. And that's when Iggy asks, who? Who we're going to see? And Jingle says, we're going to the top, Iggy, my boy. And Jangle says, Mrs. C is done fooling around. We're going to see none other than Mother Nature. Which Iggy says, gosh. Because remember, this is the first time Iggy's going to see Mother Nature. Remember, when you're seeing Mother Nature, the incarnation of nature itself, you know she's the big cheese above all things of the natural order. Which, here's the funny part. When Mrs. Claus was narrating, she never met Mother Nature, but she's afraid. Because she doesn't like to be disturbed. Well, you know Mrs. Claus is afraid. You better be afraid. Because you should not mess with Mother Nature. And when they finally arrive at her place, it's like, okay, we got this cute painting. It's like, you got a rainbow, a tree. It looks like a simple cottage. When they arrive, they see, of course, they meet Mother Nature. Mrs. Claus has tea with her. And you can see the design of Mother Nature. And remember, she's voiced by Rhonda May, who does the voice of Iggy's mom. So remember, they're doing double. Which is actually pretty cool. She's like your average granny. Bullshit. She was going to scare the shit out of you. That's when she summons her two boys, Snow Miser and Heat Miser, just by waving her hand and lightning strikes Heat Miser. The other, Snow Miser, which both look at each other and say, yes, mother dear. Which, of course, one preps her hat, her bonnet, while the other prepares her tea. Which, of course, discusses the order, which, of course, one can add a little snow on Southtown, with the other a little sunny day in North Pole, which, of course, she wants them to comprehend, which, of course, is a no, but don't fuck with Mother Nature. She doesn't like it, and she summons a thunderstrike, which she puts in their place. Yes, mother dear. Which is actually pretty funny. But yeah, that's it right there. It's actually pretty cool. That you have one person who is actually the incarnate nature putting these two in their place. But yeah, after that, when it was first sorry. After it was released, it became a success. And if you see Rotten Tomatoes, it's at 90%. And the special premiere back in 1974 on ABC, and it became an annual tradition on his program, 25 Days of Christmas programming block until 2017. Wow. What a bunch of assholes. After 2018, AMC, American Movie Classics, currently airs the special uncut as part of the Best Christmas Ever block. Which is the funny part. Yesterday, I just watched this on Cartoon Network. They're showing it on Cartoon Network, which is now owned by Warner Bros. So, of course, they're gonna put it. Hey, you can't see ABC? Go watch it on Cartoon Network. Which, of course, there's also the home videos, like the special first release in VHS and Vestra video back in '91. as part of the Christmas Classic series, which is distributed by Family Home Entertainment by Warner Home Video. Also, another release back in 1992, a re-release in 98 and 99. And a special was then released on DVD on 20... Wow. A special was then released on DVD on 31st of October. Halloween. Neat. And released a deluxe edition DVD in 2007. And okay, what's up with this? They keep releasing this video on the month of Halloween. One on Halloween, the other on October 2nd. Then again, Warner Home Video released the special on Blu-ray on October 5th of 2010, making the first Rankin Bass production to be released on that format. Which I have the Blu-ray myself. Which also comes the two other films. I think is Rudolph's Shiny New Year and I forgot his other name. It's a long-eared donkey. That one. Not my Rankin Bass. That one. Which, okay. Yeah, Nestor the long-eared donkey. Which had bonus features like... Which has some bonus features like the two Rankin Bass specials, along with like Rudolph's Shiny New Year, Nestor the long-eared donkey. Including a fun little class called Stop Motion 101, which teaches you how to do stop motion. And also, We Are Santa's Elves, profiling Arthur Rankin Jr. and Jill Bass, deluxe edition exclusive. Which, okay, cool. Then came the 2006 live action remake, which is largely the same plot, but sorry, I cannot take this real because I never seen that, and what I heard, and look at this. It stars John Goodman as Santa Claus, Michael McKean as Snow Miser, and Harvey Fierstein as Heat Miser. Gotta imagine Sully being the big red man, huh? Damn. I know John Goodman does voice for Sully from Monsters Inc. He even played Fred Flintstone. But him and Santa? I've seen clips. I even see they had a boxing match. That was not in the stop motion. Literally, they had a boxing match between he and Snow Miser, and then Mother Nature appeared. She was more like a businesswoman than from the old classic. Then you have the sequel that came out in 2008, which was titled A Miser Revered Christmas, which was produced by 2008 by Warner Bros. Animation and Koopa Coffee Studios, which also used stop motion. Mickey Rooney at that time was 88, who reprised his role as Santa Claus, and George as Irving, like I said, who was 86 at the time, reprised his role as Heat Miser, with Juan Kiran and Catherine Disher replaced Dick Shawn and Shirley Booth as Snow Miser and Mrs. Claus, respectively, because Shawn and Booth had passed away prior to the film's production. Which I seen that it's actually pretty funny. This time they expanded more about the hierarchy of the natures. You have Mother Nature with a new design. And also a new villain called Winter of the North, which is Snow and Heat Miser's cousin, who has a bit more territory in the north, where the North Pole is. And you have other natures as well, which I don't remember the names, but the Winter of the North is a bigger jackass than... If it makes Snow Heat Miser saints, this guy's the devil. Period. It's kind of pity, because this one they didn't bring back Jingle and Jangle. Those two are quite important. But, remember, this is a different one, so different story, but it's actually quite funny. And that is my thoughts on A Year About Santa Claus. And, hey, if you haven't seen it, watch it. I think it's on YouTube. You can just put the name A Year About Santa Claus, the original, 1974. It's right on YouTube. You watch that for free. And other Rankin Bass classics. But yeah, that'll be it for today. If you want to hear more, I think I might talk about the other one. Santa Claus Comes to Town. Which, hey, why not? And that one's a doozy right there. But yeah, until then, if you're new to the channel, remember to subscribe, hit the bell, like this video. If you don't do that, the Snow Miser and Heat Miser will freeze and burn your asses into soup. So until then, see you everybody. Peace.